You know, I can't say I'm surprised, but then I am surprised. And what I mean by surprised is how this modern day generation, this young black generation, or generation maybe a little bit below my age, how they pedestalize and are quick to make heroes out of people just because they famous. They make heroes out of people because they famous. Not heroes because they did something great. Not heroes because they did something to be praiseworthy or honorable. This generation of black people, under my age, I can't say my, but you got some guys my age that's doing this foolishness. They pedestalizing, meaning putting this guy on a pedestal, Fleece Johnson. Fleece Johnson. That's how far black men have fallen. This how, and I'm not saying all black men, but these YouTube guys who do this, who give a platform to a damn sexual predator, a sodomite sexual predator at that. They give a platform to this guy and talk and listen to this guy and let this guy talk about his degenerate exploits in the penal system. You know, sexually assaulting young men, pushing up on young men, you know, taking their manhood, you see, basically destroying the lives of young men out of fear. A predator, a sodomite predator. They praise this dude and call him the booty warrior. This is a guy who was part of a documentary years ago, and he talked about, you know, of course, you know, these Caucasians, they're gonna show the video of him, of a so-called black man being a damn sexual predator, a sodomite, you see, and one who rapes, as you say, a grapist. You see, they show these people, and of course they want you to think that this is how black men are. Listen, whenever they put these type of people on here, these degenerates on TV, video, whatever, it's meant to be a representation of all so-called black men. Just want you to know that. Fleece Johnson, they want to show you how depraved this black man is, which is a dog whistle for all these black men are like him. No, they are not. No, they are not. He is one who is definitely not. Nor do I find it, nor do I find it, I don't see the excitement in praising somebody like this. I don't see the excitement in celebrating somebody like this. Again, this shows you just how low black people have sunk. And I'm not saying black people, I'm saying some of these black, let me just clear it up. I'm saying these people who are on these YouTube platforms, and they're giving a platform to somebody like this. You see, praising somebody like this. Somebody who is a degenerate. There's no other way to say that. He's a complete degenerate. You see. Now, again, unless this generation don't know what a degenerate is a rapist, a degenerate is a pedo, a degenerate is a sodomite, but definitely one who forces people into sexual intercourse, because that's what the man, he's an admitted rapist. Allegedly, I'm going to say allegedly, cover myself, but that's pretty much what he said as the booty warrior. Talking about he can ask you, he used intimidation to make young boys give up their manhood. You see, and talking about how he enjoys another man's behind. How sick are you? Another man's butt. This is what he's sitting up here talking about. I did the video on Anton Daniels, but I came across this guy in the real life street production. And these guys opened up praising this dude. I'm like, really? They open up praising this dude like he's some sort of celebrity. Dude is a straight degenerate. And I have my right to say that because, again, what has he done that was so praiseworthy? What has he done that was so praiseworthy? Is he so-called keeping it real? Yeah, real degenerate. And like I said, you so-called black men that give this guy a platform, I understand, like I said, y'all find his world and his prison life fascinating. And I sat up and I listened to this guy's, and I sat and listened to this guy's story, and, I found it like jaw dropping and disgusting all in one thing. And I'm like, I'm good. But to see you guys platform this dude and make him into a celebrity, where he can come out in the world after all the damage he did, to young men who didn't want to, who was scared for their lives to intimidate them, young men who he forced into sexual intercourse, something that they got to carry for the rest of their life if they didn't come in there being gay. Because sometimes men, when they're young like that, they're forced into things and they scared, to die or get hurt or something like this. So they, they'll, allow something like that to happen because they looking for protection. They don't want to be hurt. They want to go home and whatnot. And somebody like him exploited that. He exploited the vulnerability of young black men. This is what he did. And this is what y'all celebrating him for. This is why black people are messed up, man. Y'all could have had, it's people out here who are really doing things in the world, that's accomplishing things, but I guess that's not ratings enough for these guys. You see, they all into the excitement and things like that. I get it. They into what people going to watch because I guess certain people are fascinated by that mindset, that world, that degenerate and depraved mindset, or his degenerate and depraved exploits. So, like I said, I don't know how long this dude's 15 minutes of fame is going to keep, going to last, because like I said, after the fascination with all these kinds of stories and whatnot, everybody should be good on him. Everybody should be good on this guy. What's next? You guys going to platform a straight up pedo? A guy who brags about touching children and happy about it. That's next. What y'all going to do? That's what you're going to do. Platform a pedo. You see, a proud baby, graper. Got to use your words and whatnot because, I don't want the video. I want this to go out. Who else are you guys going to platform? Somebody in one of my comment section actually had the nerve to talk about Fleece is a good dude. Really? This is a good dude now? This is what y'all define as a good dude because he being so real and keeping it honest about what he did in prison? Yeah, he a proud sodomite. He's a proud sodomite. And then the dude quotes out the Bible and talking about he a Christian. I said, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Because these are the type of males, black males, that's in Christianity. These types right here. Sodomites, undercover sodomites. You see, grapists. Stuff like this is what's in the church, in the black Christian church. You see, this is what his God is okay with him doing. Sitting up here talking about his exploits, his degenerate, instead of being repetitive, instead of him repenting for what he did and saying what he did was wrong and that he lived a degenerate lifestyle, instead of him looking to repent, he's sitting up here being proud of that, basking in that, being famous for being a predator, a sodomite predator. That's what dude is. Dude is a sodomite predator. Okay? I'm not sitting up here mincing no words. I'm not sitting up here, Duke is a sodomite predator. And y'all praising this dude. What's so fascinating about some guy like this? What's so fascinating? Like I said, I heard his story. Because I wanted to know what happened to this dude. Because I remember him years ago when he was much younger and how he looks totally different now. He's much younger and leaner. And, he was in jail talking about, how he a predator and all this other stuff and how he a warrior. And that's, again, how he got the name the Booty Warrior. So it made me look at you guys kind of sideways if you're putting this guy on a pedestal. It's like you look up to these type of dudes. Maybe because that's what a lot of you guys, got in your mindset. Maybe that's in your back pocket somewhere. Maybe that's why somebody like a Mr. Fleece Johnson fascinates you. You see, I guess if Jeffrey Dahmer was alive, you guys would have Jeffrey Dahmer on your platform next. You see, because like I said, a degenerate is a degenerate. I don't care what it is. You touch babies, men touching other men, babies on touching men, grown men, people touching babies. All that stuff goes in the same pile of degeneracy. All of that. Anything where you ain't a man and a woman ain't together, something natural. It's just pure degeneracy. And like I said, obviously a lot of y'all okay with that. That's the sad part about it. But this is the generation right here. These are the guys that got platforms on YouTube unfortunately, because they platform garbage like this. But that's it. I'm done. Out.